Welcome to the Proof Point Podcast, where we decode digital success one click at a time. We share key takeaways fueled by data and insights that your team can implement today to drive growth. Now, let's get started.
Hi, it's Stacie Porter Bilger, your host for this podcast, where I feature today's top leaders in performance marketing, sharing strategies to kickstart your growth. This episode is brought to you by Proof Digital. We are a strategic and creative performance marketing agency, partnering with organizations to create data-fueled marketing engines that drive growth and deliver a tangible ROI. Ever since I founded the company in 2012, Proof Digital has employed strategic marketing approaches by blending today's marketing tools like AI, competitive intelligence, SEO, PPC, and paid social ads with traditional sales funnels. Ready to get some results? Visit proofdigital.com to learn more. I have Chad Frenzen here of Rise 25, who has done thousands of interviews with successful entrepreneurs and CEOs. We have flipped the script, and he's interviewing me. So, Chad, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much, Stacie. Great to be here. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good. Hey, I'm looking forward to talking to you today, learning more about Proof Digital and kind of what we can expect as we head into the new year. You mentioned that you founded the company Proof Digital in 2012. What led up to that?
Worked with companies most of all my career, and one of the biggest challenges the companies have is how to be found and how to get their product or service in front of those potential buyers. And I just love working with small to medium-sized companies to bring clarity to their marketing efforts so they grow. And it's just it's just a great fun to work with these companies, to see them go from zero to millions when they're just trying to figure out how best to perform in the marketing space.
Yeah, that's great. So it's been over a decade now that you've been in business. What are you most proud of regarding that time?
Well, there's a couple specific. I mean, there's a company, just really the company successes and the team that we have here, both. I mean, if you look at a manufacturing firm and company in Nebraska, they've gone from not selling zero online to selling millions online. Just seeing the growth of these companies, startup companies that didn't have any sales, and now they're selling their products across the world. And so just seeing these individuals have their dreams come true and grow and impact both the community and economic growth. So it's all fun.
Great. So you founded the company in 2012. Now we're heading into 2024. I'm sure a lot of things have changed over the past 12 years. As we head into the new year, though, what should businesses be prepared for, especially when it comes to their digital strategy?
Yeah, that's a great thought there. 2024 is going to be unlike anything in the last decade plus. AI is obviously the talk of the town, but it will have an impact more the way we live and work, and it also will drive more innovation than probably any technology has in decades. Along with AI, and I can go into more detail about that, but Google has new patent releases and new AI tools, as well as they're going to release their whole new search. So Google search was going to totally change from the consumer standpoint too. And it's going to be good changes from the consumer standpoint of how we find information. Email delivery is going to change too. We're all tired of a lot of those bad guys coming through our inbox, and Google, Yahoo, all the delivery email services are going to be cracking down a lot more on trying to block those bad guys. Speaking of that, security, you're still going to see more and more issues around security. And so there's be some things businesses need to put some things in place. And you also need to be thinking about local. I mean, where you are, and there's a lot of changes from a local SEO standpoint as well. So that's a mouthful.
Yeah, that's a lot of changes all in one year. So let's get into some of those more in depth. You mentioned AI. I've just been starting to learn how to incorporate GPT into my daily routine. How is AI going to be more of a factor or more disruptive in the coming year?
Yeah. Well, a couple things. It's going to change the way we actually look at data, even from our standpoint, from a marketing standpoint. It's going to simplify the way we look at data. It's going to bring some innovation on also how we produce content. We'll see businesses across the board, not only in the marketing space, those are some pieces, but you're going to see innovation across multiple industries, healthcare, air traffic, all kinds of different innovations you're going to see it disrupt. From a marketing standpoint, it's going to drive how we produce content. It's going to drive how we understand consumer behavior.
So what would you say would be like a specific thing, this time next year that we might be used to that we're not used to now?
Oh, used to. Simple things. I mean, I'll just kind of even give you some fun things. The way we we're releasing a new podcast. The way we actually brainstorm an idea. We use Chat GPT, and I'm sure we'll be using Google Gemini in the coming weeks to basically brainstorm about what would resonate with. And that we spent maybe 15 minutes, and we came up with the total marketing strategy around the podcast. Whereas in the old days, you would have a focus group and spend hours of people's time to get there. So that's a change. I can also put in Chat GPT if I have what I have in my cabinet. It'll give me recipes right out of the gate. So there's lots of things that you can leverage chat and AI to help your everyday life as well as marketing. So but you'll also minimize human error as well. And so you'll see a lot of the minimizing human error across multiple industries, and that's how it'll be used.
Yeah, that should be very interesting, very nice. So you mentioned Gemini. Tell me a little bit more about Google's new release, Gemini.
Well, it just came out, and from a standpoint of what we've recognized, it's probably will be the leader, at least for this week, as far as the technology goes. It's pretty impressive. And then the other player in the marketplace is Chat GPT, which is more tied to Microsoft. Those two are the leading kind of leaders, both Google and Microsoft in the AI space. Others you'll see, Facebook as well as kind of as lagging in there, but you're going to see a lot of innovations there. I don't know if I'll put it in maybe in the notes. There's a video with Mark Zuckerberg and another individual where they're doing AI virtual meeting, and it's quite crazy. And so it's something that you can feel like you're in the same room with somebody. And the facial expressions are there, and you're having a conversation. And so you're going to see more and more of that kind of thing.
Wow. So Gemini is similar to Chat GPT, or is it completely different?
It's very similar, but it's further along in its accuracy. That's my first out of the take. But they're both moving pretty quickly. So I found it a little bit more superior over Chat, but again, it could be just the latest release. They're both moving pretty quickly.
You mentioned that we can expect changes in email deliverability. That's a tough word to say. What can you tell me about that?
Well, one is, both Google and Yahoo are doing some more requirements. So if you're doing any mass emailing, or if you are, even using MailChimp or any of those other marketing tools, they're going to start requiring certain things within securing that your domain is actually who you say you are. And so there are some setups to make sure to prove that it's actually you. There'll also be about how you address things from, it needs to be from a person and those types of things. So, and also unsubscribing is going to be a bigger requirement in the ability of the consumer to unsubscribe. So there's certain setups. And so I would encourage anybody listening to connect with your IT or your, client of ours. We will take care of all those things for you. It's basically just making sure that your DMARC is set up correctly. And that's an IT kind of term, and that you have those things set up correctly so that actually gets in people's inbox. If you don't have it set up correctly, you're going to have your business emails might not go through. And so that's just cost you doing business. So it's important that they focus on that.
So it's a pretty easy fix, though.
It is a pretty easy fix. It's dotting I's and crossing T's.
Okay. Would you say that businesses will notice more, or it will have more of an effect on them because of how they send messages, or will it be a bigger relief in terms of the messages they receive?
Well, one is, I think it's the first one, is how they send messages and how they are communicating with their customer base. Mm-hmm. It's always finding the bad guys on the email intake. We're always working to block those bad actors. It's those email delivery systems next step, and making it harder for them to send bad stuff to you. Because if they're not validating who they are, it's going to be blocked within your email system too. Just like your email will be blocked if you're sending it to a potential customer and you don't have that those dots and I's and T's crossed, is saying you are who you say you are.
What about the last thing you mentioned was digital security? How will that change? Will it get safer, more dangerous? What are some of the threats?
I would say, we're always fighting bad guys, and it's not getting any easier. You're going to see more mobile apps with spy or extortion capability. That's not fun. You're going to see digital blackmail, where people are talking. We just had a client whose identity got stolen, and having really secure passwords and not using the same passwords across multiple platforms, using tools like 1Password or LastPass are critical. Don't email passwords across the board, but you're going to have people blackmail. It still is an issue. There's also rising threat in cryptocurrency. So just if those who are that advanced in using that type of process to make payment, there's more and more threats in there. And then we talked about AI a little bit earlier, but social engineering will be more prominent, right? You're already seeing it. People are, using people's voice. They're using people's words. And so social engineering with AI will be the bad part of AI. I mentioned all the innovation is on the great side, but there's also the downside.
Do you think that that's something people are just going to have to guard against, or, that can be like eliminated?
I wouldn't bet on eliminated. With all innovations, even look at the history of innovations we've had so rapidly in technology the last couple decades. Social media at one point in time was, about working together. Now there's a lot of ugliness to it, right? So when we have in phones, we live on our phones, and with it, it's changed our lives and it's changed the way we work. But there's a lot of bad things when I need to get my son off of it, right? So we're going to have with technology and innovation comes a lot of innovative and creative things, but also there's always those bad things too. So we'll just have to work through those type of things. But AI is probably one of will be the most disruptive technologies we've had in decades.
Wow, that'll be very exciting, yet something that we probably should, I guess, be a little bit cautious about in terms of some of those threats.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on 2024?
I think it'll be a really good year. I am a marketing firm, but it's going to be a really good year for companies to really look at how they can up their game on their marketing efforts over the next few years. It's really going to be important for growth and making sure that you're leveraging these new innovations that are coming down and making sure that you are really working on getting in front of your potential customers. So I think 2024 will be a great year to spend and look into your marketing efforts. I'm looking forward to it. Going to be a roller coaster in the tech space, though.
Yeah, I bet. So speaking of upping their game, you are upping your game with this new podcast. As we've talked about, there's all kinds of things that you're going to be discussing. It should be very interesting. What are you most looking forward to about having the new podcast?
My team and myself is just really addicted to helping small to medium-sized companies grow. And we work with manufacturing, we work with construction, we work with nonprofits, and getting clarity and making sure that they are focusing on the most important thing of the day to move the needle, to grow. That just excites me. And then if we can put together a resource for those companies so that they know what I to dot and T to cross, a lot of what we do is about that. So what is the most important thing that a company needs to focus on, and giving some tangible tools for companies to take back immediately. I'm excited about that because we know what those are, and not everybody can leverage our services, by the way. And so if they can just take something away to move the needle and bring some clarity to their marketing efforts so their company grows or their nonprofits grows, that's just a good day.
Sounds great. Should be very interesting, very informative. Hey, Stacie, congratulations on the new podcast. I'll look forward to hearing future episodes. Thanks so much for talking to me today.
Thank you.
So long, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Proof Point Podcast. We'll see you again next time. And be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.